Well, hello everybody. I do believe we are live. So yes, I'm just checking my other computer over there, and we are in fact live. So I'd like to welcome you along. Now, I know that as we go along, some of you are going to join late, and I'm going to say this a number of times throughout this little session here, is that if you do join us late, please do take the time to go back and watch from the beginning, because I'm going to start sharing straight away. I'm not going to sort of sit around and wait for people to join. You're good to go. So if you're watching live, please put in #live, and also let me know where you're from. And then also, if you are watching the replay, please put in #replay. Now, I'm also going to be answering any questions that you may have. So once again, this is either live or replay. I intend to do a number of these live sessions over the coming weeks, just basically to touch base with you and make sure that I'm answering your questions and giving you the tools you need to go forward in 2020 and actually build an amazing business. So your questions are very important, because I can sit here and tell you what I think, well, what I know you need to know, but I want to also give you what you want. Okay, so please feel free to put your questions into that chat box. Now, as I said, if you're watching live, obviously I'll address your questions during the live event. If you're watching the replay, still put your questions in, and I will answer them in the chat or even reach out to you via message. So what I'm going to talk about today, it is really, really exciting. This is something that I did teach and touch on when I was working at a massage college, and I was teaching business and marketing. And it's a couple of strategies that I used in my own private practice to build my client base. And there's sort of two sort of distinct models, and one is sort of more focused and advanced than the other. And I'll talk about that as we go on. I want to keep these lives reasonably short so they're easy to consume. So I said I'd sooner do more lives and chunk it for you than rather make you sit through an hour or so of training looking at me, because I can't even share my screen. I've actually changed I've changed my streaming software at the moment, so I don't have all the functionality I'm used to, so I can't share my screen, unfortunately. But anyway, let's move on, because I know that a lot of you out there struggle getting business, struggle getting clients to find you, and there are some fundamental reasons for that. You might turn and say, I see it all the time. Why do some people absolutely thrive in business? Their clinics are overflowing. They're so busy, and others are quiet. Just hear crickets. And it's got nothing to do with the abilities or skills of the therapist, of the service provider. It's got absolutely nothing to do with that. You can be equally skilled, but one can be struggling and the other one can be thriving. I've even seen in a lot of situations where a really, really good therapist is starving, and a mediocre therapist is absolutely killing it. So there is a foundation, and I think a lot of people that go into business, and I'm going to be covering this more in like a full-on training. I'll talk about that towards the end of this live and sort of invite you along there. But we have to look at the overall foundation, and sometimes people just sort of rush into business without putting these frameworks and foundations into place, and then they wonder how to go, they wonder how to get the clients. And Natalia says, where can I find hiring clients? Any ideas? Yes, I've actually got a lot of ideas there, and I'll actually be touching on that in today's training. So stay tuned, because basically that's what I did when I was in private practice. I actually specialized. I did a number of specialized treatments, and I became known as somebody who was very good at dealing with pain and injury. And I had so I actually charged much higher rates than those around me, and I was fully booked. But I'll tell you that's what today is basically about, is how to sort of use these strategies to separate yourself, so you're not just a commodity, so that you're not just seen to be like everybody else, and to attract those high end, the people who are willing to pay and get onto a treatment plan and come and see you and work with you and do their part to come out with the treatment results that you want. Okay, that's the important thing. So yes, definitely that's what we're going to be dealing with. So we're going to talk about, so I'm in this process, I'm going to talk about free versus discount. I'm also going to talk about very quickly about how I built my business after leaving elite sport. So I worked in elite sport for many years, but for most of my career as a therapist, I actually worked with elite athletes. And so my clients just turned up to work every day. They had to. They're athletes. They had to come and train and play. And then I sort of got hit in the face when I went out and started to into private practice, because once again I had these amazing skills working with elite level, like national players. So there was nothing wrong with my skills. I just had to bring myself to market properly, and that's where I sort of invested a lot of time and money learning that, and that's what I teach. So free versus discount. When you discount, you devalue your service and you devalue yourself, and you actually start this, what we call this race to the bottom. And a discount is generally a very reactive thing. I've got no clients, I'm running broke, I've got to pay the rent. How am I going to get the money in? I know what, I'm just going to run a discount, I'm just going to run a special. It's a very reactive, knee-jerk reaction. And by doing so, you devalue your service. You actually drop the value of your service in the eyes of the client. And then you get into this race, and then you drop your price and somebody else drops their price, and you get to this competitive to and froing, to the point where you're basically working for very, very little money. And once again, I know many people who discount, who offer their services very, very cheaply and still do not have a lot of clients. How do I separate myself? Good question. We'll talk about that as well. These are the key elements to a successful business, right? So I'm going to talk about that. That's all in my notes. Okay. So free versus discount. Every day of the week, I will value add versus discount, right? I would sooner get something that the client could use, generally in relation to the treatments that I provide. Now, basically, I come from a medical massage, clinical massage background, sports massage. So I'm in Australia, we're called remedial therapists. I know that term isn't used globally, but that's my background. But I also know there's people out there in spa and that sort of stuff. So Natalia, what sort of services do you provide, so I can get a bit of context as I answer those questions for you? Can you just put that in, please? Okay, so basically I'm coming from that pain management, injury management, from that fixing people side of things, but this works just as well for people who work in spa or relaxation or whatever. Okay. Sorry, it's very hot. It's in Australia, and it's almost 30 degrees, and it's all closed up here. So I'm sorry if I'm starting to glow a bit. Okay, so if it's sports massage, perfect. Okay, you are my person. And running coach, excellent. Okay, so basically I would sooner value add, which means it's saying, if I'm providing a treatment and I want them to either use do some self-triggering, so I want them to use a tennis ball or a spiky ball, I want them to use a roller or whatever else, then I will value add that into maybe their first treatment with me. So you come to me and you'll get this kit, you'll get a spiky ball and a foam roller, and I can source those for wholesale, get them very cheap. And so yeah, I might be sort of, I might be $15 out of pocket out of a $120 service, but they're still seeing value because they're actually pricing that at retail price. So they say that's really good value. If hydration's a big thing for you, you could have a branded water bottle that you give to your clients at their first visit. It could even be like the marks, like the stage water, so making sure that they're taking certain like a stage intake of water throughout the day. You've got all these ideas, but I would always value add rather than discount. But we're not talking about discounting or value adding today. We're talking about free, and we're talking about strategically free. And I said there are two models that I use. One model I adapted from Eric Brown's 60 Clients, 60 Days. That's more a general public, generic type special offer, and I'll talk about that at some other time. But today I'm going to talk about the one where we're actually building our referral network. Now, the person that I've been in close contact with, one of my ex-students, and I've been mentoring her on an ongoing basis. She's since moved over to Perth, and she's actually working, funny enough, with a lot of runners over in Perth. And so you're talking about somebody who sort of is a reasonably new graduate. She graduated. I might have got it wrong. She might have graduated at the end of 2018. And then she wasn't in a position where she was really sort of struggling for money. So she was in a position where she could actually just treat clients as she liked at the price she wanted until she got her feet on the ground. When she moved to Perth, this is what she did. And this is the same way that I've built my clinical practice to a point where 97% of my clients came through referrals. So Natalia, you want to know how to get your high-end clients? It's through referrals, because referrals carry a lot of weight. You can always tell somebody how great you are, how good you are, what great results you get, right? But when somebody else tells them that, it holds a lot more weight. And when you build a network of doctors, specialists, physical therapists or physiotherapists, depends once again where you are in the world. And when those people in the medical profession, when they refer people to you, that holds major weight, major weight. So how do you get these people referring to you? Because sometimes you just can't. Sometimes these people, you can't get to see them, especially doctors. They've got gatekeepers, and no matter how hard you try, you can't get in to see them. And don't take that personally, because they do it to everybody, right? There's doctors are hard to get into at the best of times, but there are ways to do it. And one way is just to provide an outstanding service and get results. Meryl, hey, welcome. Okay, so I'm talking about my friend over in Perth. She's just moved there to a brand new area. She doesn't come from that area. She's not known, and now her business is blowing up. She's getting referrals every day. And she did that by basically going out and selectively giving free treatments. Okay, so she wasn't going out and just basically blanket offering a free massage to everybody who walked by. She chose people who she saw as being strategic, who she saw as having influence. She's got coaches, so athletic coaches, so people who coach high-end triathletes. She works with high-end athletes, right? So basically, she started giving out. She probably gave about 3 or 4 free treatments, and then what happened is that one of those athletes actually referred her physiotherapist, her sports physiotherapist, for a treatment, and this person treated this physiotherapist, and the physiotherapist was just absolutely blown away that now the physiotherapist is also referring a lot of clients to it. Like one day she actually got 5 referrals from this physiotherapist alone. So that's the way. Now we come back to the other question: how do I separate myself? Right. This is where people get all tied up and muddled up and get themselves in a lot of trouble with both discounting and free services, because they don't have everything set up. They don't have the foundation, the framework set up before they go into offering this sort of thing. You've got to have this set up before you go. So when it comes to the networking side of things, that's more focused, more targeted, more strategic, more selective than the general other offers that I can talk about, as far as providing short-term free treatments just to sort of give your client base a boost, right? We're talking very, very strategic here. Now, if you were going out and you're talking to medical professionals, like once again, the doctors, the specialists, the physical therapists, you want to be talking to people who you like and trust, who have got a good reputation, because it is a referral network. You're going to be referring back and forth. You have now got a resource so that when somebody comes to see you and they're outside your scope, you now have somebody that you know, like, and trust to refer them on to. Okay, and so you got this cycle, and you've got the cycle of reciprocity. So you refer somebody to them, they refer somebody to you, and it's this nice, warm, fuzzy feeling. But firstly, you must be clear before you even consider doing what I'm talking about here. You must be clear. Goodness gracious, what is it? About 30 degrees, right? That's Celsius, right? You must be clear about your ideal client, right? You must be clear, absolutely crystal clear, who you want to be working with, right? You don't go, you can't catch fish if you don't know what sort of bait to use. So if you're going out to catch specific fish, you've got to use a specific bait, right? So you've got to be really, really clear. This is where a lot of people fall down, is because they turn around, because they're worried. They've got the scarcity mentality. They say, but I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to limit myself to this type of person, or to this, because there's not enough work. And there is plenty of work to go around. When you do this properly, I was running a six-figure. By the time I retired, I was running a six-figure private practice on a very, very small client base, because I had when those clients were coming to me because of the treatment protocols that I used, they had to be treated every week, and then they came out to 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and then they stayed on a month. So as people were sort of coming off the intense treatment and into the more maintenance side of things, I was always getting more people in. In fact, I was getting referred to from a pain specialist, the best here on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. He was referring a minimum of 6 new clients to me a week. Now, all those clients didn't come to me. Just because they were referred doesn't mean they all showed up, and it's a good thing they didn't, because I wouldn't have been able to handle them all. But this is what we talk about. And so, but you've got to have some. So you've got to know, right? Me, I was very, very clear. I treated pain and injury, right? I came out of elite sport, so my treatment techniques were very, very different to most people anyway, because I had this sort of hybrid treatment approach, where I've been working side by side with physiotherapists and physical therapists and doctors and chiropractors and that sort of stuff, and we learn lots. And so while I still worked within the scope, and I wasn't breaking any laws, and I wasn't doing anything I wasn't supposed to, and I wasn't endangering anybody, my treatment approaches were very different, because when you work in elite sport, you've got to get those players up as quickly as possible and get them up properly. You don't want to put band-aids on them. You want them healing properly. So that's it. So be very clear. I was, and this is the other reason why my protege over in Western Australia, that's why her business is absolutely blowing up. She is crystal clear with who she wants to work with. She wants to work with elite athletes, right? And so she has put herself into situations where she's offered free treatments to people who are influential at the top of their sort of tree of influence, and as a result, she is just getting endless referrals, right? So you must be professional. Doctors, physios, specialists, they're jaded. They're jaded by the massage industry or the natural health industry, because in some areas there is a lack of professionalism. In some areas we're seen as not being as educated. No, we haven't done our 6 years of university, so what the hell would we know? We're not, no. So, and sometimes we're just not seen as a coherent, like a professional group, right? It's always this infighting and that sort of stuff. You've got to present yourself professionally, and you've got to speak to them in a way that shows that you do know what you're talking about. So know what you're talking about, be professional, dress well, and go in there knowing exactly who you want to work with, and then also exactly the treatment and the services that you're going to be providing, right? You've got to let these people know who your ideal client is, right? There's no, like, if you can't be clear in where your area of expertise is and where you get your best results, then they don't know who to refer to you. Once again, they don't know which fish to send to your bait because you haven't made your bait clear. You know, you're just basically fishing with bread and hoping something's going to jump on your line. You've got to be very, very clear with this. And once you're clear and they understand the treatment outcomes that you can get, then they will start to refer to you. And you must be good, okay? You must get results. You can't go to these, like, these people have got professional reputations, and they're going to get pretty cranky with you if you make a bunch of promises and you don't get any results. Now, look, we know we can't guarantee anything, and everybody's different, and especially in what we do, people have got to take ownership and they've got to do their part, and they've got to be part of what, you know, they've got to be part of their own healing. But no, at the same time, you have got to go in there with a track record of getting results, of being good at what you do, right? And this is how you separate yourself from the rest, because you're very targeted, you're focused, you're treatment specific, and you can even call yourself, like when I was, these days I don't know whether you could get away with it, but when I was in private practice, I actually called myself a pain massage specialist, not a therapist. So I call myself a clinical massage specialist, right? So I also called myself a term that wasn't general, so I couldn't be pigeonholed, right? If you go out and tell somebody you're a massage therapist, well, massage is such a broad, abstract term, right? That what comes up? No, what's a massage therapist? Well, a massage therapist is like a sports and medical and clinical and relaxation and pregnancy and oncology, and it goes on and on and on. Like, if somebody came to me for a relaxation massage, they would be so disappointed because I am useless at it. I know my strengths, and this is the point. You've got to just focus on your strengths. So that's how you attract the high-end clients, is by establishing contact with these professionals. Now, they can't, a lot of them will still be sort of, you can go in and say, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. I'll get onto that in a minute. So this one here is great. I love this. we'll talk about that in a minute, okay? But yeah, I hear you. And that's all part of the income. And I said, like, we're coming up to 22 minutes or 23 minutes here, and this is big. But I just wanted to say that's the way. Now, even when you make contact with these people and say how good you are, they're still probably not going to be that keen to actually send people to you because they're not sure. So this is where you strategically use your free massage. And so generally speaking, I'll either give away a half hour or 45-minute treatment to the person I want to have referring for me. Okay, so if I want to bring a physiotherapist or a physical therapist on board, if I want to bring a doctor on board, if I want to bring other people and build my network, that's who gets the free massage. Okay, and in those situations, I don't generally have a plan in place to worry about rebooking. If they want to rebook, that's fine, but generally speaking, I use the free treatment with these people just to demonstrate my wares, just to sample my wares, so they can actually experience physically, like have an experience of what I do. And then when they're talking to somebody else about why they should come and see me, they're talking from personal experience, right? And then that's a lot more validating as well, saying, yeah, I've actually been treated and it's good. So that's great. So look, I am going to, so basically the announcement is this: I'm creating a whole course over this, around this, bringing in all this information that I have now been studying for the last 5 years or so, since I left elite sport and came into, actually it's like 7 years, my goodness. Anyway, the point is, I'm in the wonderful position now that I'm not in private practice anymore. Like my body broke down after bashing up athletes for many, many years. I've got the ability to immerse myself in this stuff and coach you guys and help you guys build your businesses. Okay, so that's where this. You don't have to spend the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours with the trial and error. I can just come to you with what works, right? And I said the proof is in the pudding. It's how I built my business, and I can if you follow this, your business will blow up, right? But if you leave one of those ingredients out, then this system isn't going to work, right? So you've got to have everything in a row, right? Just very quickly, with this question here, when people came to me, well, generally speaking, this is the thing too, is when I speak to my referral base, when I'm setting that up, I generally make it clear at that point in time that there is no one and done in what we do, that there's always going to be some sort of treatment plan, some sort of repeat treatment requirement, and that's going to be made clear on assessment. So they've got to sit in front of me. I've got to ask them questions. I've got to do assessments, and then based on what I see and hear, we can then turn around and go, okay, well, you're going to need treatments once a week for so long, just to get on top of this, and then once that starts to hold and you improve, then we're going to roll it out to 2 weeks to a month. And I make that very clear. Generally speaking, especially when it came from my pain specialist, when the pain specialist would generally tell them how many treatments they'd expect, right? So he'd say to them, look, you go and see Tim, and you'll need a minimum of 10 treatments with him, right? So he actually set that expectation at the time of referral. So it wasn't up to me, and then I'd actually just put the treatment plan in place for them. Just put the frequency and intervals of treatment together. If they didn't come to me through referral, at the very first intake interview, when I'm sitting down, I'm going through the information that they've given me, like the client history record and that sort of stuff, and I'm interviewing them, asking about their problem, even before they take their shoes off, right? Even before they get on the table, I'd say to them, look, this isn't going to be fixed in one treatment. And you've got to understand too that I was charging a lot more than most other people. So I'd say this isn't going to be you're not going to get a result from one treatment alone. So if you're not prepared to commit to a treatment plan and come and see me regularly, at least to start with, at least once a week for the next 2 or 3 weeks, because in my experience, from what I've seen, people with similar issues or this issue, this is what we've needed to do to address that. If you're not willing to do that, then keep your money in your pocket, keep your shoes on, and go now, and don't even have that one treatment with me. Because I don't want you to have one treatment with me and then not come back and then go out and say massage doesn't work. So that's what you do about the people who want to be fixed in one treatment, is that you set the expectation from the outset, even before they get on the table, right? You go, there is no one treatment here. There is a treatment plan, and you've got to do your part too, right? I do my part, you do your part. I'm going to give you exercises. I'm going to give you things to help strengthen, to stretch. You've got to drink your water. You've got to do your part of the process. I do my part of the process, and together we're going to fix this. And if you're not going to, and if you don't want to be part of that, then I can't help you. Don't be afraid. I mean, people are going to respect you a lot more because you're laying it out for them. You're setting the expectation. This is where a lot of problems happen, is that there's this expectation, right? There's this expectation here that the client just expects you to come in one treatment, they're fixed. There's expectation here where you say, I need to treat you at least 4 or 5 times. And so if you don't address this and you treat them, and then they go out and the receptionist says, so when you want to rebook, and they go, what do you mean rebook? I've just been fixed. Right? So basically tell them from the outset, and then what I do, probably in the final 5 minutes of the treatment, while they're still on the table, I go, okay, so we found this and this and this. I need to see you again next week. Simple as that. And so when they leave and they go out to reception to pay, and the reception says, when you have to come back in, they'll say next week because they've been told, right? That's the way you address that. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to be creating a new, a brand spanking new training program, and I'm also going to be writing a book. So there's going to be there's going to be a book. There's going to be a training program. And if you are already a member of the Get Booked, Stay Booked method, if you're already a student, I think I just typed that in. I can't see it. There we go. If you are a student of the Get Booked, Stay Booked method already, then you will get this course for free as part of being a student. This is going to be this will be a separate course to Get Booked, Stay Booked. Get Booked, Stay Booked is great. It takes you through that 8 weeks. It takes you through a lot of this. This is probably a more advanced course that will sit on top of Get Booked, Stay Booked, but it will be a separate course. But if you are already a student, you will get this already. And being a student of Get Booked, Stay Booked, you'll also be part of the process of the development of this new course. I want this course to be developed by therapists for therapists. So you will get emails, like my Get Booked, Stay Booked students will get emails in the coming days, weeks, inviting them into a private group where I will be dripping out the modules and training material as it's made. Now, if you're not a member of Get Booked, Stay Booked, now's a great time to get membership because it's at its cheapest ever. It's never going to be cheaper than what I'm offering it for now. It's US $97, and that's lifetime access, one payment. Amazingly cheap for an 8-week program, but I know a lot of massage therapists do struggle, and I want to help you out of the struggle, but also I spend tens of thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours learning this stuff and trying this stuff and helping people with this stuff. So I need to get remunerated as well, right? Fair return, fair reward for information. But that's where we're at. So if you've got any further questions, once again, please put them into the chat. I'll be finishing up today because we've gone for half an hour. I don't want to make these overly long-winded. I will be putting out some more free Facebook Lives over the coming weeks as well, just to answer questions as they go. How can I learn more about that program? If you want to learn more about Get Booked, Stay Booked method, just go to that. Just go to that. Just go to that link, the getbookedstaybookedmethod.com, and it will tell you what each module. It used to be dripped out, to be honest with you. It used to be that you got one module a week, and you sort of had to go through that module, implement that before you moved on. I've taken the drip away temporarily. We'll see how we go. I might put the drip back on to sort of just drip the content to you. But at the moment, you've got content. You've got access to all the modules and all the bonuses from the outset. So there's lots of good stuff in there. Okay, so take a look. Anybody, if you've got any questions whatsoever, you've got the email. Probably the best email to get me at is this one, because the other ones are actually quite long. So if you want to email me directly, here are a couple of email addresses that you can get me at. But let's make 2020 and beyond your year. There should be no reason whatsoever you struggle. If you're good at what you do, and then there's plenty of work out there for everybody. There's no need to worry about scarcity mentality or anything like that. Right? There's no need to worry, but there is plenty for everybody, right? As I said, with a with a surprisingly small client base towards the end of my career, I was making good money because once again it was a focused base, right? It wasn't like, it's like an email list. It's okay, well I've got 10,000 people on my email list, but then it's not making any money because they're just names. You don't have a relationship with those names. You don't have they're not a buyer's list. Whereas if you cultivate and nurture a relationship with your clients, they'll be great. Like, I'll leave you with this thought, and then we'll go. And this is it. For many years, I believe that success when it came to my business was result driven. That if I didn't get results, clients wouldn't come back and everything else. So I strove for results, and there's nothing wrong with that. But then towards the end of my career, I came to realize that it had nothing to do with the results. It was the relationship I had with my clients. It was the trust that they had. It was the rapport that I had. It was the understanding, the empathy. That's what kept them coming back. Because when you have the understanding, the empathy, the rapport, when you have that relationship with the clients, they will forgive you even if you don't get the result, right? Sometimes, we treat somebody and we might flare it up, or we don't get the outcome we expect. And if you've got that relationship with them, they'll come back and let you try something else. Like I said, well, that didn't work. Let's try something else, right? So always remember that it's not but you still got to get results, right? Don't get me wrong, because if you fail to get results all the way along the board, if they're not getting what they're coming in to get, then they're going to go somewhere else. Right? I mean, fair enough, right? But ultimately, it is a relationship business. And to get what we spoke about today working for you, you've got to have those 4 or 5 things in place. But you've got to be good, right? You've got to stand out. You've got to be known for getting results. And then these medical professionals will have faith and they'll feel comfortable referring people to you. And when they do, like when I was in private practice, to be honest with you, I didn't even have to do any social media advertising, right? I had a Google listing, so I was coming up on the first page of Google for massage in my area, and that generated clients for me as well. But 97% of my clients came through referrals, and then it was just topped up with what came through Google, right? I wasn't paying anything out. Google ads are free. I mean, Google business listings are free. Referrals are free. And to get there, I probably gave out, I don't know, maybe $1,000 worth of free treatments to professionals that I wanted to have refer to me, and that ended up generating 6 figures, right? Amazing returns on investment. Okay, guys. Thank you for coming along. Hope you enjoyed this. Once again, if you're now coming through and you're picking this up on replay, please put in #replay. Please still put your questions into the chat, and I will happily answer them. And also, if you are catching us on YouTube, because we'll put this across onto YouTube as well, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for notification. And I will send out another notification probably in a week. And we might do this again next Friday. We'll see how we go. But I will be doing these reasonably regularly as we are bringing the information together. But I wanted to know where you're at and information that you want. I said I didn't sort of scroll back up here through the comments, because Meryl, I didn't ask you what you did as far as what sort of services you provide as well. Okay, thank you, Valia. It was great. I'm so pleased that you enjoyed it. Check out the site. Got any questions whatsoever, please email me. I am here to help, and thank you for your email address. Okay, guys, I've gone way longer than what I expected. Always, it was great to talk to you. It was great to be interactive and actually answering your questions, because that's what these are all about. You take care. Have a great weekend. Look after yourself. Start to think about what I said, but please go back, start this from the beginning and watch again. And start to think about how you can implement this into your business and build it. Okay, and let's go work out how to stop this. Okay, guys, take care.